Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our campaign of the Ninefox Gambit RPG, a dystopian military sci-fi game based on the machineries of empire stories by Yoon Ha Lee. We're all in horrible grave danger, but we're going to go around and say hi to everybody to find out tonight who they are and who they're playing, and we will start with Pope. Hello.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope will build on the internet. Back with the Ninefox Gambit crew playing Shuos Robin. Both of us use he/him pronouns, and it's meme time, folks. We're in danger.
Terrible danger. And, now we will head over to Ewan. Hello.
Hello, I am Ewan. I play Nirai Tace. We both use he/him pronouns. Nirai Tace just almost did a heresy directly in front of the biggest boss that he has. So we're gonna see how this goes. He's in a special danger, I think, at this point, but we'll see.
Absolutely. And now we will head over to PB. Hello.
Hi, I'm PB, and today I'm going to be playing Ondan Floor, she, her pronouns, and I am just delighted that I made the decision to not read these books before this campaign, because I love that I don't know what's happening, and I feel that's very much in character for my character.
No, it works. It actually totally works. I, of course, am playing Rahal Graydon, who is being sorely tested right now. Before we hand things over to our calendar, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat, or hold up a card and make the X symbol. All right, put in the Zoom or video chat or anywhere else, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has very dark themes. It has the potential for player versus player conflict, depending on the choices made, and may contain references to assimilation, addiction, body horror, brutality, atrocity, capitalism, colonialism, genocide, torture, hegemony, human sacrifice, and imperialism. If you would like to see the list that I just read out and you're watching live on Twitch, you can go in the chat and type !9CW, that's NINECW, and that will pop up there. It'll also be showing up regularly on rotation. Also, please remember, just please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if you need to. It's very heavy stuff, so if you need to dip out at any time, please, absolutely no problem. We totally understand. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. And so now, without further ado, we shall hand things over to our calendar. Hollow. Hello.
Hello, how are you? I'm Hollow. I use he/him pronouns. And this potentially is our final or penultimate episode of Ninefox Gambit. Tonight's monologue, I'm going to deliver from the perspective of the NPC that our characters met at the end of last game. Narai Kujin, who is a big high muckety muck. He's a heptarch. He's like, one of the great six. And if you've read the books, well, if you know, you know. There you are. The fractal paths of causality have finally delivered you to me. Isn't it curious how inevitability always feels like destiny? though it's nothing more than the weight of probabilities collapsing. But forgive me, I digress. You must feel the weight of this moment. After all, you're standing before so much of what you love and despise. I know you are. And you've come so far, and why? Because I need you. The Heptarchic needs you. And if we're to preserve this little fragile lattice of existence, you'll see that I'm not your enemy, but perhaps your salvation. I'm sure you've all felt it, this elegance of a perfect formation, the satisfaction of an equation being resolved, the beauty of a calendar that binds us to something greater than ourselves. That's a gift that I gave to the galaxy, by the way. Also my burden. But I can see some of you are hesitating, doubt flickering your eyes. Let me offer you a truth. In this storm of nonsense, the cost of rebellion is always higher than the cost of obedience. The choice is very simple. Will you shatter the only reality you've ever known for the chance to grasp something you cannot possibly understand? Or will you ensure this flawed, beautiful world still endures? Time is short, children, and the universe waits for no one, not even me. So what will it be?
That was fucking good. That was really good. That was fucking awesome.
Just like,
Also shooketh.
Yeah.
yes, I am shooketh.
Yeah.
I propose a game.
Graydon right now is starstruck. That one of the Hexarchs is here, and so he was going to give the most formal Rahal salute that he knows, because this is who you do it for. and will not speak until spoken to, I think, probably. At least not at first.
I'm still kneeling on the ground, I guess. So I just kind of, stare open-mouthed for a couple beats too long, and then just like, bend my head, basically, just put my head down.
Is there anything that's like physically different when you go up in rank in this world? Like, is that...
Nope.
Or is it just...
It's just a matter of resources being given to you and your assumed allegiance to the Hexarchate.
So when seeing this person, aside from how they hold themselves, there's nothing different,
Nope.
Essentially.
Nope,
aside from probably just knowing who he is.
Just knowing who he is, knowing that he has, thousands upon thousands of whatever counts for credits and people and resources at his disposal. That is what makes him different. And especially at an eyes glance. There could be people waiting in the trees for you, you wouldn't know.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll just stay. Lord knows I am not sitting on the ground in this dress, so I am definitely standing there, having just been arguing with Robin, who I'm assuming wouldn't be sitting down. He wouldn't let me have the height advantage. So we're just standing there, and this guy comes over, and I just look him up and down, but like I've said my piece, so I'm not like gonna say anything else in this quick moment. I'll let him talk. Not sure, though.
Robin just like Just sort of nods along with the monologue, like, nice monologue. Well, play game.
Oh, you Shuos and your games.
It's a very simple.
I'll hear. I'll hear it.
It's first to least atrocity. It's not a hard game to play. You just have to come up with the math that makes it so that children don't have to suffer, be deprived of their parents. First one to make that happen wins.
Are you also laying the suffering children at my feet?
Oh, I'm laying it at everybody's feet. I'm just as much of a participant as you are. But the game and the object of it is to stop it as fast as possible and make the world better. You have a head start, significant one. I'm being gracious.
Apologies,
Do you concede defeat?
Narijo. I apologies, Narijo. I fear our Shuos friend here, who has just only relatively recently joined us, may be unaware of the full circumstances here.
No, you just have to accept every Shuos as fundamentally broken. That's all.
The thing is, if you break something and mend it, it's usually stronger than it started out as.
All right. Let's play your little game. First to least atrocity, is that what you said? That's
Yes.
the name of your game?
Yes.
All right. If you can stop all of this from falling apart, you'll win. Because think of how many atrocities you might even catch up if all of this goes to how they say, oh yes, how all this goes to shit. Yes?
Here's the thing, though. You are speaking as somebody who deals in certainties. I had all of my brethren deal with chaos. The uncertain. We see it every day. We cause it every day. Now, again, you have an extensive head start. You have the resources. You have the money, the technology, the power, political power. You could make things and win. Or you can sit on your hands and concede defeat. I'm giving you an opportunity to either win or concede.
I think that you should be worried about giving yourself an opportunity to live to see tomorrow. And that's not an implicit threat from me.
But
it's a threat from your own incompetence.
No, it's not incompetence. It's not incompetence at all. It's arrogance. It's arrogance and a sense of justice. It's an overdeveloped thing, that and the rivalry. It's been developed very much over time. Like, you guys have honed it into a weapon. That's who I am. I am a weapon. And I strike things down, oftentimes without being the one to pull the trigger. I just have to say 6 words.
He looks at you with an inquiring face, like the Shuos is going to Shuos, so.
Everybody, I don't see you, but I know the 6 of you are there. Doesn't he look tired?
There is a moment where, Robin, you can hear the hesitation and then the glint of a scope. And then bang. A shot rings out. And you watch as Narai Kujin's sparkling eyes go dull for a second. And he drops to the ground. As you are taking in this tableau, there is a wrenching noise and a sorry about that. Sorry. Oh, so dramatic. As this person is jerking like they're fighting themselves, as whatever signifier they had is overwritten by a kaleidoscoping moth. It was just a passerby on the street. Mm. Mm. Mm.
So I'm immediately going down to the body that just dropped, and which is probably a very stupid thing to do if there's a sniper. But just sort of like looking and just like you sort of crouching down, trying to, and still sort of looking around for snipers, but at the same time to try to check on the body, and because Graydon doesn't know what's happening.
Win, lose, I'll be here. I will look forward to what you make of this, Shuos Robin.
See, that's a neat trick. But at the same time, I wonder, doesn't it rely on everything staying just as you want it? What happens if something goes awry? What happens if a spike happens? Can you do that trick again?
Why don't you find out? If you can spike me to death like I'm some sort of ball on a court, I welcome the challenge. And he starts to walk away, his kaleidoscoping moth trailing like a dress train.
I didn't get the last 2 words. Game's not over yet.
Oh, are you looking for a what? Game over?
No. Last 2 words. Chaos reigns. You know he's here. You know he could pop up any one of these people at any given moment. You know what I'm talking about. And you know he's not a fan of yours. And I know that people are listening in. How far can you run?
There's a slight moment of irritability in his face. And he tries to cover up with a hair toss and a smirk as well. Let's see. As he walks away clumsily because this body is not the body he was sitting in.
Tace, I got a question for you.
What? I got a question for you. What was that? You're talking all of this smack to the Hexarch. Like, what do you think is going to happen? We could all be sniped in the next 5 seconds. Like, what was that?
Defiance buys time.
Okay. Do you actually have anything to back that up? Like, you were talking a big game, but I don't think we're playing with any good cards right now. Are we?
Oh. No, we've got a pretty much dead man's hand, except for actually 2 aces. We're sitting on pocket aces.
Okay.
One of them is you.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, because you can answer my question.
Okay. What's your question?
You know how moths spin space?
Yeah.
What happens when one at speed collides with a planet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine very much. The mass differential is enormous. Like even for maybe like a small asteroid, but like you're
Small
talking
asteroid.
like,
That sounds good.
oh no.
So earlier in this conversation, I have been I have been looking around to see if I can detect the sniper.
Who was the sniper?
Because
Like, we have no
I
idea.
feel as though we're still not quite safe in this position.
Would people
Yeah,
to look around for snipers? Maybe make a who
am-
all is looking for a sniper?
I just kind of want to crab walk into a bush at this point, but I'm already on the ground, so like low profile. Maybe I'll stay where I am. I don't know.
I am both looking and sensing. Because that's got to be a very that's got to be a mind that's got a very particular thing going on that I suspect is going to be different from all of this.
That's fair.
Go ahead if you would like to search out that person.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So I am listening for this lone discordant voice in the chorus, as it were, of existence. So I am wondering if so I got my 3. Let's see. I don't know if my signifier would count for this or not. People are not tools, they are instruments. Maybe, because I'm trying to see how well he was played. If that works. I don't know. Do you think that works?
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's see. The cacophony ends. Yeah, there's chaos in this situation that I'm trying to reduce the amount of chaos in the situation. So I think that that might work. Although, no, I defined him as a discordant voice. I can't have the cacophony end in order to figure this out, so I can't take that die. See, I don't think I've read the entire libretto applies here. And... Yeah, my thought is that the calendar is at stake, and this person just assaulted the Hexarch. I'm not entirely sure of where loyalties lie, But I guess I spent some XP, so I have a new edge. And that edge is, mine is the hymn of the true calendar, and I will defend it. So we're going to go with that. Okay, so good news and bad, both. Let's see. I have 3 successes and a 6. And I think let's see. Am I enough toward the edge that I'm just going to go ahead and head up to 5, or shall I spend an XP? I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't know. Is there ever a thing where it can jump 2 at once? Because if
no.
No,
If that was the case, then we would have had Duncan for like 2 episodes.
I am. Yeah, that's true. I am most definitely. I think Graydon is most definitely drifting more toward trying to. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna let it go up to 5 for this right now, because of the way he seems to be going. Unfortunately.
Pope had a roll of like 3 6s in it, like game 2.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, and I figure that it's just want to make sure. Oh, that's true. I can spend the 1 XP at any time, I think, to take it down. Okay, so 3 successes.
this mind that you are looking for is one of roiling frustration and confusion. There's a hint of dedication, but it's not dedication to the Hexarchate or anything like that. It's like a dedication to family.
Is there a location at all that I can figure this out, or no?
Maybe 100 yards away from you.
Okay. So, do I have a direction, or do I just have a range?
We'll say north, 100 yards north of you.
Okay. Are they moving?
Nope.
Okay.
Right. Nobody is on the move.
All right. I'm going to back up. After. I think Graydon pieced together what happened when the Hexarch walked away, and the shadow went out behind him, and it's like, oh wait, this is like with Jadao. I didn't realize they could hot bodies that easily. Which actually, yeah, that's the surprise, is that one can hot bodies that easily, because like it's just from what I was reckoning before, if with timelines and having to put him back, I thought but anyway, so I'm going to very slowly back away from Kujin's previous host, and just kind of said about 100 yards, you said? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to slowly back up toward the others, and I'm going to very quietly say, let's see. Actually, how can I... Oh, yes. As I'm kind of crawling backwards, and I'm not going to say anything, but sort of next to, I'm just going to draw very small in the. Is there like sand? I don't know if there's like in the dust or sand or whatever we're standing on. I'm not sure.
Yes, there'll be dust or sand. Yeah.
I'm going to draw a little arrow. I'm going to write next to it 100 and the letter Y. I'm just going to tap the boot of whoever it is that I'm next to so that they can see it. And we'll say floor just because of the just sort of space people. And then I'm going to quickly sort of erase it. And I'm just going to, with the other two, I'm just going to look at them. And I'm just going to sort of glance to the north.
As Tace was after Tace finishes kind of yelling at Robin, I just look at Tace and I roll my eyes at the person tapping at my feet, showing me the direction that a sniper has just shot at us from. I'm gonna look at Robin and be like, well, this motherfucker just signed all of our death certificates, so if we'd like to do something, we better start it soon. If that idiot wanted... and I'll... Of course, the man with the plan. I'll go ahead. And I will just... I doubt we can go back to our ship. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm fairly certain that things fucked a fuck for us, but you know, when we got here, there was these locations of like community centers, right? But there was extreme space between them for the most part.
Yep.
So man, what the fuck do we do? I am just gonna go. If there's an idiot with a gun to our north, I'm gonna head any location but north, but the one with the most, I guess, cover, whether that be trees, whether that be gazebos, whatever it may be, I'm gonna go in that direction. And kind of navigate towards one of those centers. But I won't start speaking until we're like in decent cover. But I'm almost fully confident that if they wanted to kill us, they would have already killed us. So I'm not really making any attempts to run, duck, and hide or like serpentine. I'm really just gonna walk straight in the direction that you think fits that description.
Okay.
And if nothing happens and we're fine, as I wait for my army crawling friend to catch up. I will. I just I'll turn around and as we sit there and we just kind of look at her, whoever wants to crawl. If you want to stand up, feel free. But as we wait, I'm just gonna be like, well, there's an asteroid. Although Taste doesn't seem to think that's a great idea. I'm not even like fucking with the tuning fork, by the way. Oh, fuck these guys. I am. I'm just like, well, Taste doesn't think that's the greatest idea. And this definitely feels very craft hockey of you, honestly. Do you have any ideas, Taste, as to what we do as we head to a prime location?
I'm searching the body. Like maybe you look to your left and I'm not there. I'm crouched down searching the body. I've been searching a lot of bodies recently, and I feel like I'm getting pretty good at it. So I'm seeing if there's anything
had
useful
practice.
on the Hexarch's body.
Yeah, so you find a small folio that's like, it's got almost like a data pad, like, like the size of a Palm Pilot. And it has files of like, of Narai, and you are on there, and it says, getting too close to the moths, probably need to liquidate in the notes.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna, hang on to that.
There is also a what would be considered a space opera pack of cloves, because Kujin is that guy.
Got to have some wardrobe changes, no matter where he goes.
Well, no, cloves, like clove cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
Oh, okay. I completely misread that.
Yes, they until before they were banned in the U.S., they were the goth cigarette of choice because they were black and cooler.
Right. I have heard of clove cigarettes. I have not partaken, but yes.
I didn't realize they were banned. I forgot about that.
They cause even more damage.
Yep, they're apparently even more cancerous. So
everybody I knew in the 90s smoked them.
Takes about 8 years to recover from the damage that they do if you stop like right now.
R.I.P. Okay, well, I pocket those too. Why not? If there's any room left in my pockets from the just tremendous amounts of gum that I've put in there.
Yeah, a pack of cloves, the little Palm Pilot with the
liquidation list.
The liquidation list. A small moleskin, like the moleskin, notebook. It's not branded moleskin, but that is it's the way it presents itself. It's small.
Though I can totally see moleskin surviving this long and be the official notebook of the Hexarchy.
Yes, put your calendar in your moleskin.
Poor moles.
And there are a lot of drawings of dancers, it's like a little. They're using it as like a little sketchbook, drawings of dancers, movements of planets, various proofs on the 3-body problem.
Oh, of course. Of course. Well, that'll be some a little light reading later. I just kind of flip through it. If I don't see anything that's like really glaring, like this is my plan, ha ha ha, then I'll just put it in my pocket for now.
Nothing. It just seems like the pockets of a person who does day-to-day managerial work, and at this particular person's level, they probably shouldn't, but he does.
Okay, well, that was kind of a bust. All right, well, I'll kind of I'll army crawl over to Floor and whoever else has gone over there super dramatically. It takes me a while. I'm not very good at it. Kind of skin the hell out of my elbows. But it seems warranted at this time.
Have pads for that.
You want to throw me some?
Back in the ship.
Oh, right. Okay, well, I'm already like shouting to you, so I just kind of like look at myself. It's like, okay, fine. I just get up and I walk over normally. Yeah. So there wasn't anything particularly useful on him. There's like he doodles a lot, I guess, which is something I didn't know about my boss's boss. But cool. Nothing really we can use, I don't think. Can I Hollow, I am good at computer. Can I look for like hidden files or any other kind of like, behind a layer of security that I might know how to access? Would that be
Sure.
possible?
Yeah. Would you like to do that?
I would like to do that. Because I am filled with tenacity, which is my first 3. And then edge, I am good at computer. I could say that I am defending my friends with this. I don't know if that's my primary aim here, but I think I can use that.
I think at this point you can count the moths as your friends. You are
Yes,
defending those.
also those. That is for sure. Let's see. Let's see. My level is 3, so 1, 2, and 2. 3 successes and no 6s.
Let's go.
So the first thing you come across is a ginormous amount of porn.
God damn it. I was just like, I'm beep 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 on this little palm pile. I'm like, whoa.
Just like just the tawdry reading, pictures, videos.
Uh-huh. Okay. You were
Individual with
busy.
a lot of free time.
Yeah. A lot of day-to-day managerial work, but also more free time than I expected. Okay. All right. There's that. But I suspect that's not all of it.
No,
I feel like I'm like getting a sense of this guy and maybe a little bit and his like I don't know what his plan is. I saw him in my dream. I know he's tied to this extremely intimately, but I don't know how. And I'm trying to figure out there's something that I'm missing.
Yeah, well, I mean, first thing was the porn. I had to walk you through
Right.
his porn stash.
Right.
You had to walk through the porn garden to actually find anything useful.
Okay. Great.
The second thing you find is a map of Nexus fortresses, like like a full map of each Nexus fortress in the Hexarch.
Okay.
And their supposed broadcasting ranges. This is things that are like even at the most upper levels of most factions, you would not have this kind of data.
Yeah, that seems extremely classified. Oh, we're all probably dead anyway. So, yeah, I'll okay. Was there anything else, or
Yeah, they're broadcasting ranges, and from that, a lot of notes about these broadcasting ranges that could be amplified, they could be strengthened, and how easy they are fortress by fortress to manipulate, and which fortresses would cause some sort of cascade effect if manipulated. Like just kind of like playing a weird game of dominoes. Like this fortress would have to fall for X fortress to fall in the right way. It's never like any fortress could fall. That's a given. But like if I wanted to do XYZ thing, I would need to do this one first, or I would need to do these two first to get that one over there. And there's a lot of like gamifying, like how would I do this? How would I amplify this? How would I send a signal if I needed to from one place to another?
Okay. Well, that's something I can use. We can use. I'm going to show this to Robin. I was very affected by Robin's, speech last session, and I was ready to stand up and go, yeah, fuck the man, et cetera, et cetera. So like,
but then the man showed up.
The man showed up, and I kind of, immediately shut the hell up. But now the man's missing. He's gone. So we're back to fuck the man, woo.
You saw the man shot.
Yeah,
and then get back up. But
yeah,
you saw him shot.
Yeah, that was a little terrifying, honestly. But we're just seeing. Yeah, so I walked away. It's and he's over there now or something. He's vanished into the crowd. So let's look at this thing. Check this out.
Yeah. Oh, and there's one last file. Like there's one last file that just says like it's like almost like a note scribble. Like formation instinct for Shuos ?
Nah. Ooh. Well, that doesn't seem like that seems like something that will never happen. So I kind of pull this up and I lean over to Robin and I'm like, holy shit, check this out. And then I look at the pad and it's some porn or something. I'm like, no, wait, not that, this, this, the map, the map.
Again, the man with that much free time, he's going to have things on his devices.
Sure.
But I would like to make a roll here.
Sure.
Looking actually through this, with all of my training, with what I've been exposed to, how can I cause maximum havoc with this information?
Sure. Go ahead and make your gamification roll, good Shuos.
So we start with 3. Then all is fair. That's my signifier. So that's 2. I don't think I can talk my way out of this one, so that
No.
doesn't work. 1 must survive if they are to serve. And I have a new one. Arrogance buys time. And I am arrogant enough to think that I can do something about this.
All right, let's see it.
Oh, hey, baba, swing, baba. 7 successes, no 6s.
So I'm going to explain this the way I would explain Chaos 1 in Scion. Because that's probably my favorite power. The one that says, how do I cause the most bullshit with a single action?
Also the level 3 where it's like, I can do this, and I'm fine. Everything else is on fire, but I'm okay.
Right. So the way to cause maximum chaos would be getting everyone here singing the same work song or the same approximate of something, while also and this is if there is a type beam or a quantum entangled communicator on the Black Cradle, you could actually get them to broadcast that song to the nearest Nexus fortress. That fortress would not take down the entirety of the Hexarch in any way, but it would cause a localized spike for a sector of space. Because everybody working together would in fact cause a no longer used remembrance to occur. Because they are deeply tied to, because they are now significantly calendrically tied thanks to the work of some Rahal to a calendrical event.
Okay, I now know this. Now I have another question. And it's more about this planet.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the well dressing and the tuning forks and all that. Do they have TVs? Do they have radios?
No, they have criers.
Are they using them?
Oh yes, they have tuning forks, but they also have some sort of amplification system that is like either built on their clothing or maybe built into their clothing. So when they speak, you actually can see you think about this, and the crier walks out and goes, calls out for shift changes, stuff like that.
Because I have fully embraced the chaos, this is the horrible idea I am putting forth. I'm not saying I'm going to do this.
Sure.
I'm saying this is an idea. Because, again, I'm a Shuos. I'm essentially an incredibly violent marketing strategist. And I want to put together my equivalent of buy a world of Coke for this planet. Just like have it be something so universally pleasant. Something that everyone can embrace and feel the warm fuzzies about. So it just blankets everywhere and seems completely benign. But everyone is doing it. Like a far more like just as viral, but even more acceptable and warm, fuzzy version of Gangnam Style. Like just hit the world up for one brief moment in perfect harmony. I want an E major chord. Sustained.
Sustained is important. Yeah, I see what you're trying to put down there. Yeah, I can understand that.
Like that's what comes to mind is like, we need to get this entire planet focused on one thing. And I'd rather that one thing not be panic, fear, hatred, as easy as that would be.
Those are the easy ones.
Are you telling us any of this? I just want to know. Or is this just going through your head?
Right now, that's just going through his head, and he's just going, that could work. It still involves getting to that. But
Well, allowed floor is since Tace has effectively ignored her, and
no.
Robin and Tace have kind of gone off in to just like whisper among themselves.
No. There was vocality about the band has, a lot of free time. And then he likes looking through the palm pad. Like, I want to describe this. You, as an Andon, see this conversation going on, and Robin's face has that look of Bugs Bunny thinking hard about something.
That has been your face for a while though. So as I am standing here, I'm just like, well, if we're gonna do anything here on a planet where they echo each other's thoughts, the best way to get anything accomplished is to just get them to echo thoughts at each other. And if they work in our advantage, well, then that's probably our best go ahead here.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
Look. I think, assuming I interpreted what happened back there correctly, the Hex Archit, evidently, is in on the asteroid activities, at least in some sense, at least in 1/6 sense. We know that. So
that little action back there was A, to buy us time, and B, to confirm that there's more than one person bouncing around.
yes, there's somebody who's very upset for familial reasons that tried to assassinate one of our Hexarchs here. Now,
I'm surprised it was just one. I'm kind of disappointed.
no, it's one person. We've moved to somewhere that's like, I guess, indoors or something, or
Not necessarily indoors. You're still kind of outside, but you're
sort of
safer.
shielded.
I love
one
the idea,
person,
like college courtyard.
It's one person there. As far as I can sense, they were roughly 100 yards north of our previous position. Now, so there is more going on here that we do not know about. But it seems, assuming I interpreted that exchange correctly,
Mhm.
then there is on the table currently from the Nirai Hexarch a challenge to try to deal with and actually someone can also, I'm just going to say this, but you can correct me if I didn't read this right, to deal with the heresy here, preferably without killing anybody or any of the children, or letting any of the children. Rather, the way you said, what you said was that none of the children suffer in this society.
Or be separated from their parents.
Or be separated from their parents, right. So that's the challenge here. So we'd have to get them to stop doing what they're doing. Now, and I just gestured to Floor, what Floor is talking about is a way to start getting them to say the same things at each other. That is probably a good start to trying to do something like that. Dare I ask, is that anything close to what you're trying to concoct right now?
It is definitely within the same sphere, just not where I'm aiming.
I want you to understand I am trying my best to keep all of us alive here, if at all possible.
I signed off on being alive for an extended period of time once everything kicked off on the ship. Like coming here and then seeing all this and having people, the honesty check with, I'm already dead. I am just buying other people time. But in buying time and
they're
trying
just
to...
going there, and at this point, Graydon says something very naive. You think they're just going to execute us for doing our jobs?
Of course.
That's Floor. Also me, but Floor also.
Of course. Before I got into deep cover, my job was pretty much liquidating people who were doing too well at their jobs. And usually by making their spouse kill them. Like it wasn't hard. You'd be surprised how many Rahal are married to Vidona that have a temper problem. But
okay. So Graydon is going to say, hold up. Would you mind if I check to see if what you were just saying is the truth?
Go ahead. It's one of the few times I'm actually telling the truth. It's sort of a nasty habit I picked up since meeting you people.
I am just looking very, very lightly at the surface in Robin's head. I'm trying not to violate anything. I asked him for permission.
Yeah. No,
and I assume that Robin is telling the truth.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. Like you get cascades. Like he is remembering having conversations and just setting things up for like raucous infidelity and everything. And this was his job, was to get a spouse to murder their spouse.
Okay.
And so they were liquidated, but none of the blame fell on the Shuos or anybody else.
I have to figure out how deeply this cuts into Graydon's perception of the Hexarchate.
Like that was like,
I mean,
like starting level job.
Yeah.
Like, what is Graydon's demeanor in this moment? Like, still kind of conflicted, or?
Like,
He is a little bit. Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, I think that he's becoming, seeing that Robin is telling the truth.
I guess I should say conflicted for the right thing. Conflicted in believing that the Hexarchate would just liquidate us for gigs, essentially.
Yeah. He has a very naive view that is perpetuated by the planet he comes from. It's a very that everything is a gift, and the things that the bad things that we do, we only do to heretics. Basically. And so
that premise is beautiful.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he's very, you can see kind of sort of almost on his face that there's this thing of like, it's like not abject horror, but it's like a sense of like just bewilderment.
Again, there's a reason why, we're known for being liars.
I
Because if we
mean,
told you guys the truth, the house of cards falls.
my entire job has been heading to places with and without actual heretics and dealing with them as if they were all heretics. In what you do for the Hex Circuit. It's the job.
Heresy
Just because
is a
the
line.
Shuos and the Andon are two different factions doesn't mean that we don't do the same thing, just different ways.
Heresy is a line, clear as day. That's what we're
Taught, yes.
That's what we're
but
after. That's the point.
There's not enough heretics to keep the clock running, though, is the issue. Somebody has to be sacrificed on schedule.
London Floor, would you mind if I just verify what you just told me?
Go ahead.
Going to glance again, on the surface.
And I'll push that to the forefront.
Yeah. And so it's just like, so he has this moment, and it's just like, this is,
Mercy is a lie, one of many that we tell ourselves. It's about power and control, stability. That's what society is built on. It's built on stability.
huh. This is not the way it should be. This is not the way it should be.
My issue with Robin's plan is not toppling the Hex Circuit. My issue is which piece he was going to take out.
The funny thing is, you mentioned peace. I'm just using a different spelling. My idea. This actually, no, we need you. He points to Floor.
Obviously.
Is to get the criers of this society essentially broadcasting an ad. One that gives them the warm fuzzies inside. A meme that will blanket the planet for a little bit of time, while simultaneously getting up there, somehow gaining access, and then using what's on that terrible rock to send the message coming from the planet with the warm fuzzies to the nearest Nexus station.
Well,
and then...
Well, look now. The issue isn't the calendar.
Well, yes, it is.
No, it's people. It's what everyone's doing. It's what people are doing to try to.
The calendar runs on the blood of the innocent and the inconvenient.
It's not the calendar. They're preserving it wrong.
Then why don't we make sure that the calendar gets set correctly?
Essentially, the calendar needs a software update. And if anyone's going to orchestrate that update, again, I'm good at breaking shit and causing chaos, madness, murder. That's my strong suit.
Changing the calendar isn't going to change the behaviors you've just both been talking about. People are still going to do this. And
people are still
we're not
going to
about to turn it into a dictatorship like you were talking about before. That would be
few quick things. Democracy is awesome. It's inefficient. The best thing one can ever hope for is benevolent dictatorship. But those are exceedingly rare, and usually power corrupts. As we have seen, we now have somebody who is just completely, for funsies, murdered someone to preserve their own life. That person that they hopped into is gone. So they could extend their selfish and privileged lifespan. Now, I'm not saying all of the Hexarchs are doing it, but you've just seen one, and they're the one that, holds the position for having the best goodies. Are you certain that the guy who has the best goodies didn't give them to their friends to keep in his position? I'm just saying.
well,
And the thing is, we know some of the tech of our neighbors, what they do to children. And I'm not thrilled about that. But at the same time, if, we are, as a society, are okay coming up with weapons that, vaporize people's memories. It's not good. It's not fair. It's not fun. It looks rather painful. Also kind of horrifying as someone has a psychotic break before your eyes. Or, turning people into spaghetti. That's not good. Like, I know so many different ways of murdering people. There are far kinder, less messy ways. But our society chooses some of the most over-the-top and cruel for the fun of it. Because it sends a message. And that message is fear, and fear is control. That's kind of like Shuo's Basics 101.
all right.
A scared population is easier to control.
What alternative are you proposing here that would keep folks in line and actually protect the calendar?
I'm saying we need to give the calendar a software update. That's where taste comes in.
In what way? That's what I'm asking.
Well, we got, the tech and essentially the manual written by a madman on how to do his idea of co-opting the calendar. Why can't we modify that to, just give it a software update? Make it so that, we don't need a blood sacrifice every 2 weeks. Make it so that, people can just reinforce the calendar by being decent human beings. Give people Christmas presents or whatever holiday gifts they want. Being kind to one another powers the technology. Being benevolent, working with one another, being cooperative. The things that humans
right, but how do you propose dealing with heretics?
Kindness, reform. People can change, as opposed to you don't give them a chance to change when you liquidate them. I mean, I'm responsible probably for the highest kill count amongst us, and I have an idea of what Andon Floor now does. So I've got
some
a lot
folks
of
you
red
can't
in the
change
ledger.
the range of notes they can play.
So you
But you can still
would
be
blame
benevolent.
the whole. You would doom everyone just because a couple of people are incapable of change? Because that is what you're proposing.
Were you speaking to me or to Robin there?
To Graydon.
Okay. He's like, I don't know.
Unfortunately, we don't have time not to know. We kind of have to be in or out on this one because our death certificates are already signed.
Dadgummit, this is not the way it should be. This is not the way it should be.
Again, I want to give everybody on this planet a soft drink, and it's an awfully good soft drink.
I mean, the remembrances are in place so that we know. That's the whole point, is to know, is to understand.
No, the remembrances are there to cause consensus and to maintain power and control. Conceit has power.
Well, it
is in the math. It's how the moths
the consensus has to be there for us to be able to function as an entity, in order for us to be able to keep others from coming in on us, the neighbors.
Yeah, but if we can change how that consensus is maintained,
right? Yes. No. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Wouldn't it be nicer that if we change the remembrances,
we do this very differently on my planet. I just need to let you know. But
I get that, but there are planets
maybe that's what we should be doing.
Have been liquidated just for having dances. I would rather have dances as a remembrance as opposed to running people through with mono wire and collecting their tears to the sounds of an orchestra. Like that seems, that's a lot of pageantry. That's absolutely unnecessary.
Well, you have to be able to reach everybody, but
yeah, but you can reach people through a ballet, a nice piece of art.
Maybe
music.
Yeah, if it does well enough, that's the thing. You have to make sure. Maybe the trick is how much you make mandatory. All right, okay, I see. There's probably a better way to do it. We just have to iron out the specifics. Okay, fine.
Again.
Well, I have the message that I would like to echo through people's through the grapevine. If you guys are done having an existential crisis,
I can
if we do this,
you may be able to, but
I am going to have some very specific. I'm going to have some very specific things I'm going to want to make sure get maintained.
If we get that far, I can't wait to have the conversation.
The true calendar must be in place.
We can discuss it at the end, at the finish line. All right.
Fine.
Let's head. So what I'm going to do with the tuning fork as we're walking by to find a crier of sorts, I'm gonna start describing in very hilarious detail just a bunch of stories of cats getting scared by cucumbers. Just like a nonstop compilation of like cats doing cute and or hilarious shit. Like slipping, like trying to, jump off of a small table and then getting caught on the runner and then just flopping off of it. Just like describing as much as I possibly can like that, to just spark hilarity among everyone.
The leopard trying Marmite.
Yeah. Just like anything I possibly can, that is accurate to this universe, just using those like cute and cuddly creatures and just being like, just basically telling the tales to my fellow friends here, but broadcasting it to everyone we're passing by as loud as I can in my Andon way.
Well, I'd like you to make a roll as you try to basically become a Can I Has cheeseburger in record time.
If anyone can establish it, it's floor.
Let's see. I am doing that. So I am essentially I'm looking at my. Oh, I forgot to add an edge. I forgot about that. I'll think about that later. I am breaking them with thorns. Neutral light in the eye of the hurricane. There is silence. I would like to use in the eye of the hurricane. There is silence because all of us are. We are the eye of the hurricane, and everyone around us is an enemy / the hurricane in this sense. We are in danger with every step we take, so I think that would apply here. I'm technically not lying to them, so I'm not really lying to them. Am I lying? I'm not lying to them about what I'm saying. My intentions might be lies, but so there's 4, wrecking them with thorns. I mean, they're fluffy, funny thorns, but no. We'll go with that. That's 4. All right, because technically this is not for the hex socket. It's the exact opposite. That is 3 successes and a 6.
Awesome. So yeah, somebody on the street says, I was just thinking about cats the other day. And it can't have been the other day because you just fucking said it. But, people want to feel relevant, like, oh, well, I was having thought about cats. Well, actually, my cat did something funny. That's probably also not true. You just talked about this. Their cat was probably boring.
But I'll just keep doing that as we get closer to a crier, to then be able to broadcast the message further along. And if anyone wants to do that before we get there, feel free.
I kind of edge up to Robin as we're walking, and I'm just like, I appreciate your faith in me and everything, but I think possibly rewriting the entire calendar on the fly is maybe a little beyond my abilities.
Ace, you're one of the few individuals here that has been able to survive an incident that would have killed, and I'm not overstating this, 90% of people. You've also been able to decouple, whilst in flight, a banner moth and have it not fucking crash. You have survived and done a great deal in a very limited amount of time. I think it's about time you give yourself just a little bit of faith, buddy.
Okay, I will. I'll do my best. I have another question though.
Yeah.
What's a cat?
Humid, sort of like a tiger, but they're more domesticated, small package size. No less fierce, but far more ridiculous and high maintenance.
Okay.
You
And-
usually
but
find
they're-
people of corporate standing keeping them as pets, but it's really the other way around.
But they're funny.
They can be. They also can be
Okay.
fierce, terrifying, annoying. Like, again, a cat that kills its owner is seen as a god by other cats.
Okay. All right. Well, I can. Okay. I think I have the right context now. To help amplify this. Yeah.
They are
But-
ridiculous, small, fuzzy creatures that can be absolutely endearing 1 second and terrifying the next.
Okay. That's I don't know if I would find that funny, but but that's I'm glad we all know what that is now. Yeah.
Sometimes they make little faces like this when they get caught doing like self-grooming.
So a beloved animal to the Shuos, I must imagine.
I mean, if we had half their stealth or speed, we'd be unstoppable.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll do my best. I just kind of I feed all the Kujin notes into my augment, and I just kind of start start crunching some
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
Basically.
Graydon also just hearing some of the will just say to Taste, you're not going to be doing this alone. Also, keep that in mind. Some of this has been done for us, unfortunately. And just remember the model. Because I'm suggesting you can use that to help sort of figure out the positioning of things.
Did I see the model?
Yeah, I sent you pictures.
Oh yeah, okay. You did send me pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I feed that into my augment too. I'm just kind of constructing constructing an algorithm possibly for the augment to do most of the math for me because this is an extremely large project.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll periodically just sort of augment to augment, send in little things to. I'll be happy to if you want to bounce things off. Graydon will be happy if you want to bounce things off of him, and he'll send stuff back and forth to kind of help make it work. And that his math is not is not nearly as good, but he at least will be able to, because there are things also that he wants to maintain, so he'll try to keep that going.
As we approach a crier, I'm going to tell the guys to like back up a little bit and let me work. I'm gonna approach them, and I'm going to be hello. Could you assist me with something?
Hello. How are you, miss? Are you speaking through the tuning fork when you speak to this crier?
Yes, I'll start off that way. At least when I come up to them, to give the most like, hi, hello. Could you help me with something? And as just as a note, as we continue to talk, I'm going to give very much like not from here energy, because I'm going to talk with my hands to like emphasize a point, but mostly to get the thing away from my face as I'm talking. And that's just going to happen as this goes on. And I'm like, yes, hi, I am on floor, and who am I addressing here today?
They seem very confused by your name. Like, I don't know the Ondans. Who are they?
New, actually. Arrived very recently. Oh, yes. That's why I need help. I need a little bit of information about this. About the function in this area.
Sure. He seems ever so confused. Is that even though this planet is a planet, it's like I should know you because I should know you. Like there's definitely like a look of like I should know you or at least know who your family is kind of vibe. Like, well, where were you assigned?
My assignment actually is what I'm coming here to ask you for. But
you're remedial. That's all you had to say.
So yeah, I'm sorry. What is your name again?
My name's Bao. How are you?
Bao. I am doing. It's been a little confusing as I have first gotten here. Took me a while to find you, but now that I'm here, I'm so ready to find out more about this station and who I'll be working with.
Oh, well, let me take you to a foreman. Absolutely. Yeah, let's well, actually I got some news I gotta sing out real quick, but after that we can take you to a foreman and we can get you and and you'll get all the assignments for your family, and then the Ondens will be respectable people around here.
Is that what you do? You inform people of things?
Oh, it's okay. You don't know. Yeah, sure. I'm a crier. I gotta get out the news.
Oh, that sounds so important.
It's very important,
Wow.
but not too important because we're all important.
Except everyone has their place.
That's right. Yeah, that's so good of you.
Yeah. And during our break or between games, I upped my my social status. I'm now status 3. So I'm gonna use enthrallment on this fine gentleman. So as we're speaking, and I learn a little bit more about what the fuck this guy does in kind of this condescending way, I'm gonna look him in the eyes and maintain contact as he, oh yeah, so important, but we're all in this together. And I'm going to attempt to enthrall this.
Sure, absolutely. Make
this
your
fire.
roll of enthrallment. I will make his roll.
All right.
He does not have a signifier to use, so he just has his base 3 dice.
Oof, poor guy. I'm trying to find my page. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to have a beautiful lie. You're so important. And yeah, I feel in danger the entire time we're here. So I feel Eye of the Hurricane is just going to apply the entire time on this planet.
Yeah, that's a good instinct. You are in danger.
All right, that is a 5, and I definitely believe that. Okay, so that is. I'm gonna have to roll some of these. So let me just make sure I know that. Okay, I'll re-roll you. Well, that was 5 successes.
All right. So, this person,
and no 6s.
This person isn't even in the hierarchy of things because, your rank is meaningless, but also very meaningful because he has no rank. He's just a crier. He's a guy. He's a little guy. And
little guy.
And a little condescending guy, but he's a little guy. And when you enthrall him, here's what happens. He turns to you like you're the first drink of water he's ever seen. So beautiful, so wonderful, so exquisite that it makes him forget about his responsibilities. And there's this piercing light as his body turns to a crystalline structure and then disintegrates right in front of you.
That's wild. Very cool. Wild.
What the fuck?
It's like, damn it. I'm going to find this one. And I'm going to take a quick look around to see if people seem concerned.
And they are concerned, but it's like, I shouldn't look. I don't like if poor Crier Bow got his just desserts, then maybe we shouldn't look at this and we should keep on walking.
If there is no one of import that looks like they're coming this way, I am simply going to walk away.
Okay. Sure, you walk away. There's a lot of people saw the interaction, no fucking doubt. But
yeah,
people are like, oh, well, there was a group of you and somebody turned to salt. That's normal enough. It's normal enough
Horrifying.
that everybody's like, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
All right. So as this is occurring, I'm just gonna walk past the group into a more secluded area, assuming they'll follow.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, this is gonna be a little more difficult than I first anticipated."
I see you had him break the social contract.
I simply thought it would be simpler if I just quickly enthralled him. I thought it would be a quick little thing.
We're doing science. Unfortunately, science tends to have casualties.
Don't I know it?
And now you know that it's going to take a more concentrated
Direct
approach.
approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily direct or manipulative.
Well, now we know. Just need to find another crier, maybe not in this general vicinity.
Yeah, if two of them all of a sudden turn to stone in a short span of time, think people are going to think something's come up.
You should just give them all cats.
Yes.
I would love to do that and absolutely just violate this planet's biosphere, but I don't have that much of a cat budget.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
I don't think they'd get here in time. It's mostly the issue. So the singular cat.
Hey, the new Indiana Jones gives you bonus XP for taking pictures of cats.
As you should. All right. Well, then now we know. Don't try to control them in any way. It will immediately break their social contract.
That's
Also, don't.
I need to stop thinking, because if I continue thinking, bad things will happen.
Also, don't. They know everyone, apparently. He was very confused when I introduced myself as Andon Floor, so.
Localized pockets probably allows for, again, they're using criers as opposed to, phones. So
maybe the
Yes.
answer is
probably
being forthright with them.
As forthright as I always am.
There's a level of manipulation that this is going to take. But the thing is, you can get away with it without lying, but you have to have some soft skill manipulation where you're using more complicated half-truths, as opposed to lies of omission. But
You
for the
let
most
them
part,
know
you need to
that
be
they're doing their
honest.
job.
And how many pillars of salt are
That's
you
fine.
willing to tolerate happening as you conduct this experiment to try to find the right setting?
You don't want the answer to that. Oh.
I love how Robin's got a number 2, maybe 3.
That's where I'm strange to you.
Answer.
Mine was yes. So that's a great. It's great you have a natural number.
If we have to go
It's the
4 on
difference
this, it's just too
between
much.
Andon and Shuos. We're not the best at math. That's why we have to keep the numbers low.
This is exactly. This is why the Narai are always with us. So they can keep track of it. Counting is not my job. It's just like, oh well, that didn't work. Well, on to the next one. I think that's a good place to
Probably.
take a break.
Yep. Awesome.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
How
So as
many
we,
more are you willing to kill? I feel what a dumb. Obviously, all of them. Next question.
I would sell your soul for a single corn chip.
I'm like, this is literally life and death.
Oh my god. Well,
And on
yes,
the
as
cultural note of forbidden donut,
yeah, as we have found the we found the number. That's good to know. All right, folks,
The
we're
limit
going to go
does
ahead
not
and
exist.
we're going to go ahead and go to break now. I've thrown an interview in there, and we will be back in a little bit to see if we've figured any of this out. See you soon. Welcome to the break. I am here with Doc Rimbo. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Hi, other doc. Hi, other doc. Two docs.
Doctor.
Yeah, doctor.
Doctor.
Are you okay? Okay. Before, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting your intro. Are you actually a doctor in real life? Do you have a
Not
doctorate?
really. No,
Me
alas.
neither.
I think
Me neither.
sooner or later, I've just had, it's been a nickname I've had for so long. Sooner or later, I should probably like get a PhD or something just to justify it. But
And just for fun.
yeah, one day,
Something to do.
just for fun, something. Yeah,
Right.
just one can so easily just you get one. But sooner or later, one never knows. One never knows. It's come to mean a multitude of things. But I shall not diverge there as of yet. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about Delta Green, are we not?
Yes, Delta Green.
Tell us what this is.
So Delta Green is, well, it's many things, but it started as sort of not a hack, but kind of an offshoot of the Call of Cthulhu system. There's a lot of fiction around it, and it's sort of like an attempt to modernize Call of Cthulhu, by my understanding. And then it sort of broke off and became its own system. It's very similar to Cthulhu in a lot of ways. The traditional, it's D100, it's roll underneath, it is Eldritch Horror, it's investigation, that sort of stuff. But Delta Green, what sets it apart, and this is just a general 1,000-foot overview or whatever, 3,000 foot, is that Delta Green combines the mundaneness of our real world and puts it in juxtaposition to these eldritch horrible things. There's no like romanticized real world where we're flappers and it's the 1920s, and also there's art deco architecture and stuff. It's very much taking people and putting next to each other these horrific things, but also real life things. And the way they do that is Delta Green, in the lore, in the history, is a paragovernmental organization. So it is an organization that exists at the government level, specifically in the United States, but draws people from lots of different walks of life. And usually that's some sort of government agent like CIA, FBI, Secret Service, something like that, Army, Navy, etc. But sometimes it's other things like college professors or pharmacists, or like we've got a weird assortment. I'll talk about that later. And they are part of the secret organization, so they don't know each other. It's very like being a spy. It's very, everyone has a code name, and they exist to root out the supernatural and then to silence it. And that's like the key part. They all have this shared, what's the word they use? It's the shared directive of, yes, we're finding out what's going on. We're investigating, we're finding the monsters. But the most important thing is to make sure that nobody else hears about it, because that sort of thing can weasel its way into society. And then the mundane isn't mundane anymore. And then real life isn't real anymore. And so the way they do that is they have all these agents, and in between fighting monsters, in between missions, these agents are picking up their dry cleaning and, raising their kids and all this stuff. And that gives us as the players and as the audience, if you're watching it, like the opportunity to figure out what there is to lose.
Yeah.
Right. If the supernatural overtakes the natural, overtakes the mundane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to think about it. It's a game. It's a tabletop game.
Oh yeah.
And,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things actually I like about it best is that I have only played once, and that was with you. But those were as of this recording.
As part of ASL.
Yeah. Yes. That was a delight. But the thing that one of the things I really like about it is that it hits on this thing that you find in spy fiction, which is, especially in the more realistic spy fiction, Le Carré and whatnot, which I'm often obsessed with, and is the idea that the job kind of grinds you down as a person.
Yes.
And you have this conflict. You're a rock and a hard place between the things that keep you sane in life, the
choices.
people you're attached to, and
Absolutely.
these terrible things that you have to deal with.
Right. And the whole part of the whole ethos, I guess, of the in-game organization is you are tasked with making these horrible decisions and choosing to do horrible things at a great personal cost. So you carry that with you. Another mundane thing in between missions is going to your therapist. But then when you get to the therapist, you have to decide, do I tell them the truth? Do I lie to them? Because mechanically, that gives you a different outcome.
Yeah.
In good or bad ways. And so that's it. And obviously, the overall narrative of this, as I say to all my players all the time, is what it does is it unleashes these horrors of Cthulhu or Dagon or whatever. But along the way, you discover that equally horrific is maybe the task of working for a government job. Or, and like, which is worse? That's the question. And my players this season on our show are finding out what the answer to that question is.
Yes. Well, let's actually go ahead and talk about the stuff you've been doing on streaming with Delta Green.
Yes.
And I know that as of this recording, you're on your third season, aren't you, over on Lost Caravan?
Yes. As
Tell
of
us a little
recording
bit about that campaign and all.
Sure. We are playing a Delta Green hardcover campaign called Impossible Landscapes. And I'm going to tiptoe around this so as not to give any spoilers for people who haven't played it or want to play it. But it is basically, it's a 4-chapter adventure. The first chapter, which we did as a season, we do each chapter as a season. The first season set in 1995. You're a Delta Green cell. There's a missing person, but there's something weird going on. And so you go to this person's apartment. There's a bunch of weird stuff. And then as things sort of unravel, you find out that something about the whole apartment building is infected and strange. And all the people there are being affected by something. And basically, progressively across those seasons. The second season is 20 years later. So you can play the same agents, much older. All my cast did new agents except for one. And it basically, the horrors that you saw in that first season that were hinted at come back again. And not only that, you discover that it is bigger than just New York City in 1995. It's spread here, and it's spread here, and it's spread into your personal life. And you see how it spreads. Yeah. And then in the third season, which we just started, we're about 3 or 4 episodes in at this time. In the third season, it is finally coming to grips and admitting that all the stuff you've experienced is inescapable. And not only that, but like there's a complete cosmic turnover of what's real and what's invented, and what's created. And what do you do as a Delta Green agent who strives to fight and preserve reality when you find out that reality is forfeit?
Yeah.
What are you fighting for then? Are you fighting for the feeling of playing with your kid? Are you fighting for, this person that is your ex-girlfriend, And it does that through the bond system. And it's fantastic. My cast in that game is so good.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Every season has been fantastic. This season's cast is remarkable. And they just roll with punches really well because we've had a lot of player deaths and NPC deaths already this season.
Yeah.
And like I am one of those GMs who in every game I pull punches and I hesitate to kill my players' characters because I don't want people to be mad at me and I want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
And this season has been pretty hectic and violent and but but the kind of role play that's coming out of this cast is amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, can I just ask, how was it taking this existing? This is an existing campaign, right? That they're
it's a
coming out with
hardcover.
Impossible. Yeah. And how was it taking that and adapting it to your specific table or virtual table? What you were doing here?
Yeah, I do that a lot. And someday I'll run some sort of game system where I do homebrew story, and I've done that before too. But I do that across different systems. Doing it with Impossible Landscapes has been the most rewarding hardcover that I've adapted, because Dennis Detwiller, everybody else who worked on this book, a lot of this book is like not an atlas. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's an almanac almost of all these different things around this situation that are all connected and all tied together. And it's less of a railroad and less of a linear story and more about here's a connection, here's a connection, here's a connection, here's a connection. And then each season has a loose story that happens, right? So I can say, for example, in the third season we're in, I talked about having agents with weird jobs this season. Colin McNamara, who plays, this season plays a guy named Nicholas Fowles. And in the past, he's played a college professor, and his character went insane and wandered off into an alternate reality. He's played, his second season, he was like a lethal army veteran with no emotion, like a real psychopath. And this season, he's playing an Instagram influencer who does tarot card readings for people on Instagram, but is a fraud, is a complete joke, right? And so like as the season started, he started to bring out this tarot stuff, and I'm like, oh, I could look at the beginning of the time. So at the beginning of Impossible Landscapes, there's this big chunky timeline of all these associated things, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a tarot card reference in there. And so I pull that out and I set it aside, and I'm going to say, this woman who gave tarot card readings in the 16th century, she's going to come back into the story. And that will be like, oh my gosh, that's targeting me specifically. And I love that, because you can't really do it wrongly.
Yeah.
It is just, you can pick and choose all of these different things. I was telling the cast, they choose where to go this season. There's no mission for various reasons, which you'll see if you watch the show. Mm-hmm. But of the two places that they ended up going so far, I was prepared for 6 more. I was prepared for 6 other. Maybe they go to this person's house again. Maybe they return to this place they've already been. And each one, the book has all of these instances peppered in with stuff to upset them and mess with their heads. And so no matter what, there's like fuel, there's daggers, there's stuff to pull out. And so I've loved it for that reason. And the cast also drives the story. And that's a lot of credit to them, is that really they're the ones who decide to move forward. And so it's not a railroad by any means. It's a sandbox, but they always know what the mission is. They always know what their goal is. And they do a great job pulling that out.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I think folks should definitely check this out. Where should folks go if they want to find this this campaign?
So this campaign of Delta Green's Impossible Landscapes, we do it on Thursday nights on Lost Caravan RPG, which is the Twitch channel name. And you can also find me. I do not shut up about it. If you follow me on Twitter at Doc Rimbo, I'm always posting reminders on the day of, on Thursdays. And our first 2 seasons in full are available on Lost Caravan RPG's YouTube channel.
Excellent. And so I think, I imagine if folks are watching this after that campaign is already finished, they'll probably have the whole thing up on the YouTube, I would imagine.
I would hope so. Yeah. And sometimes it takes a little while, but hopefully you can go back and find it there. Yeah. It's surreal horror. It is the kind of horror where it's not just zombies. It's a zombie of your ex-boyfriend who comes and sits down and has dinner with you.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And if you're looking at the Lost Caravan RPG YouTube channel and you go through the Delta Green stuff, if you look really hard, you might find a one-shot with me in it.
Yes.
So,
we played.
go forth and
We
look for
played
that.
Last Things Last. Last Things Last is the name of that one shot, and it was great. It was the perfect intro module where it gave you the most impossible decision at the end, and
Yeah.
chaos erupted from it.
Absolutely. No, it's brilliant, brilliant. So go check that out if you would. Was there anything else you wanted to let folks know before we let you go here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, just at the risk of spoiling anything, have you seen The Yellow Sign? So,
Good question. Have you? Take care, folks. See you suddenly. We have returned. Hello. I feel as though we're about to do a heresy. Or actually, we're being frustrated in trying to do a heresy, and now we're trying to figure out.
I mean, technically,
better
you
ways.
helped a guy do a heresy for his own planet.
That's true. We did, and I feel very bad about it.
It happens.
I was just
However, there is one thing I do want to sort of do here.
Yeah.
We figured out earlier that the baton, the pen, cannot be used directly. Or it doesn't seem like it should be able to be used directly on folks here, should it?
That is correct.
Okay.
From what you know so far.
Yeah, it's just a thing that they created based on what Lohan created, or based on what was already here. Okay.
But I would like to try a science.
Oh boy.
I feel free. We have to find another crier anyways. It's going to be a little bit, so.
I have an idea. It's not a good idea, but it is an idea.
Is it a less
Say that
lethal
the baton-
idea?
Possibly.
Long pause.
What is
I'm
the idea?
wondering if you sing in tune to whatever is going on up there with the baton out through the tuning fork, aiming the baton at an individual.
Oh, I see.
Would they then join the network? But the problem is, if they join the network, we don't know if that immediately violates the contract.
I think it'd have to be their choice. It'd have to be their intent to do so.
At the same time, even if they intended it, does that break the social contract here? Because if it does, we get salt. If it doesn't, then we can network. But if it does break the contract, because it seems like the contract here is you live and abide by the rules, and the community is the thing that comes immediately first. There is no lies, there is no violation of the contract. If there is immediate punishment.
Huh. Well, it's a question of if it's the question if their calendar is that's a good question. Is the calendar queued only to deception, or is there more?
I think there's more. I think there's significantly more. That it's not just deception. It is by what Floor did with science. That the local calendar here has a series of enforcements, all of them lethal, where if you violate their social contract through deception or through dereliction of duty, their calendar metes out punishment immediately.
So we need someone whose job it
observed.
is to point out alternatives if such a thing exists on this planet.
If there are politicians on this planet, they'd probably be the ones that have the most flexibility.
I was
Because
able
it
to
also
make
doesn't
out.
seem like they have it like an emperor or any overriding singular figurehead. It again looks like a giant commune.
I was able to make out the choral leaders at one point.
Yeah, there are choral leaders, and apparently, according to our dead crier Bao, there is somebody who assigns work and assigns people to things if you are in this remedial state, whatever that means.
So, would it be possible to either through use of the baton or just by listening to isolate and figure out where one of the leader voices comes from. Were the leader voices just the triers, or was that?
Nope, those work leader voices were distinct voices, and they are where work is occurring because they have to oversee it. They have to oversee the work. They might even be overseers.
Yeah.
What you don't know is if this work assignment person is the same kind of person.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just say, so right, you can tell. So if they've got someone, they have a sort of a choral leader, as it were. Work with those who give out work assignments, I suppose, would be.
That seems more
Right.
like a manager. I'm thinking there needs to be something higher up.
We don't know very much about their culture here exactly, do we?
No. I wonder if
Unless,
there's a library.
well, is there anything in the, who has, you've got actually, I think Tace has
Journal.
Lohan's journal, yeah?
Oh yeah, I guess
Or
I
is it
do have
Robin that
that.
has the journal? I can't remember. Yeah.
No,
He said-
I gave up the journal.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just
Because
I'm
I'm not
collecting
smart enough
journals
to
at this point.
understand it.
Yeah.
Anything about this in there, do you think?
I can get it out and flip through it again. That is a thought though. Like I would love to like maybe start a side process in my augment to try to cross correlate the information in Lohan's journal and Kujin's journal. But I can poke through and see if I can see anything about I guess I'd call it the kind of levels of authority, maybe, or the levels of control.
Control, authority, freedom.
Mm.
Like, was there anything that in our madman's calculations that he saw as a threat?
Yeah, I mean, well, he got the baton from somewhere, or he got the idea for the baton from somewhere.
That seems to be from here with the
Yeah.
work leaders.
Right. So,
And then combining it with a long forgotten remembrance.
yeah. I don't know exactly what to look for at this point. I feel like that might be too too loose, too general, but yeah, I can't really. This isn't really my specialty here. So,
Well,
social stuff and authority and stuff is not really what I'm good at.
all right. Well, it's just a question of I suppose just looking through to see if he talked about or recorded anything about who the leaders were, and
Who the
translating
leaders
that.
Sure, I can look for that. Side question, are we able to call back to the ship from the surface of the planet?
Yes. Nobody has stopped you from doing that.
Okay. Just
That's
keep
a
that
good
in my back
question.
pocket. Just curious. I mean, because we have other resources. We have, people on the ship. We have,
If they're still alive.
Thanks for that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Guess I'm about to info dump a lot about this planet.
Okay.
Oh no!
Hooray!
All right. So
Yes.
the first. So actually, let me go 30,000 feet first. So
Oh, yeah.
there are several like notes in here regarding other empires that are within reaching distance of the Hexarch that the Hexarch has issues with. Canonically, the Hoffen are an issue. There's also the Gua reality. And those are like two of like the canonical ones. Like, the Gua reality doesn't seem to have any imposed calendar, but they do have a very rigid social hierarchy that involves a lot of social niceties and violence dueling. Like literally, if you insult me, I may give you a cold or a plague or a something. Right? And the Hoffman are like, so alien. They are like, like ship dwelling, people that even with his study still doesn't completely understand. They love planets, but they never go on planets. They give planets a ton of reverence, but they also seem to be biologically connected to their ships. He doesn't understand that at all. But then there are other calendrical he calls them calendrical factions that are out there in space. A couple he names are the Iron Mandala and the Amber Choir and the Jade Resplendency. But the Amber Choir is of most significance to our plot here, because they have their Amber calendar, which is what this planet is using directly, and is in fact the closest in resonance to the Hexarchit's calendar. Each of these have some ties. They believe they might have been the author of this book believes they might be, offshoots of the original empire. That might be a very heliocentric way of looking at things. Like, oh, clearly they are us instead of maybe us being from them. But I'll digress there. The Amber Choir, they thrive. The Amber Choir, they use sound and music as a form of expression, harmonic frequencies to shape reality and dictate societal order, things you've already seen. They also apparently do have exotic weaponry that uses coral formations and from ships, like the wider empire. This weird offshoot in the middle of the Hexarchate, maybe not so much, but they are a real thing out there in space that you could potentially go find in, if we had time in this game.
I relay whatever I learn to everybody else.
And they have 7 factions, much like a certain empire used to have 7 factions.
Oh. Okay. So, in that case, what is their political faction or philosophical faction?
Well, let's see here. It depends on what you're looking for, because you have the resonant order, where sound shapes society, therefore the right frequencies can heal and unite. They focus on constructive uses of sound, sonic architecture, tuning citizens back to the calendar through audio therapy, which has maybe with the introduction of more calendrical values has turned quite harsh into, let's just tune people out if they are wrong.
Yeah. Do they have any philosophers? I know we killed ours.
You did kill yours. Well, the Discordant Vanguard is sort of their philosophy, because they question things. They use dissonance and the destabilization of dissonance to uncover truth.
We need to find one of those.
Yeah,
I can reason with one of those.
Yeah, the other factions are the Harmonic Concord, the Discordant Vanguard, the Resonant Order, the Belforged Legion. They are in fact the military faction. The Silent Refrain. They are a monastic silent order that represents the musical rests in music.
We pray that we don't encounter those.
The Crescendo Assembly, which that use rituals to strengthen sound and to strengthen bonds, and the Echoed Pantheon, and they are archivists and historians.
That's the second on our list. First on our list are the Discords.
But this planet is a bit of an anomaly, right? It's within the Hexarchate and has like extra Hexarchate stuff layered on top of it. So do they have any of that stuff?
You would think there would still be remnants within their society. Unless there was a sculpted purge, which, again, with that up there, is entirely possible. But there would still be remnants. Like, unless you have a very concerted and long-term purge, you find bits and pieces.
Okay,
everywhere.
then we just ask somebody to show us to the nearest one.
Well,
Right.
I would be more interested in what this society has as a library, or maybe a town hall, and trying that way.
Sure.
Maybe a university. Again, any place of education should be enlightening to us if we can get our hands on just, basic civics.
Sure. Are we sure that stuff isn't just passed around in the audiosphere or something?
They
No.
could be, but usually even those that, practice music within our society like to have some sheets written down somewhere.
Okay. Well, but how do you propose we find that?
Well, we can let Floor ask, or I can give it a
That's
shot.
worked really well so far.
Again, I can give it a shot. Manipulating my own emotions is like Shuos 202.
Or Floor could just ask, more directly this time.
I mean, that's the plan.
It's a plan.
I mean, I could ask that before I try to get them to sing about cats. So, I'll get the information either way, if they're willing.
All right. Well, I mean, it seems like just about anybody should be able to tell us, right?
I wouldn't assume that. It seems like
What?
there are distinct classes within their society.
But they all seem to know, like they're treating this whole planet like it's a small town, or at least that guy was.
I would think it's more, again, it's an economic metropolis. Each subsection is self-contained as part of a greater whole. So each township would be relatively small, but the township itself is interconnected to the next township, and then on, and its neighbors, then on, with the amber calendar being the reinforcement of ties and sociological standing that may just be carried on music.
This is
It seems like there's the fact that they even use criers and not any other form of transmitting data says a great deal, in that they try to keep each town isolated. They're not trading people.
Are we sure that there's no other forum? I'm gonna get my instruments back out. Hollow, can I look for some kind of like local equivalent of a grid? Like, is there a way for me to try to scan for that?
Sure. I guess you would try to search harmonically, so I would need you to roll as you pull out your equipment.
Okay.
We know they have some kind of local dating site that has to be hosted somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody somebody's getting the signal from something.
We made that canon. Okay. So
I remember somebody got the signal from somewhere.
Downward burrowing moth. I am good at computer. I don't think I can use. Well, in that we are all kind of in danger at all times, could I be defending my friends for this?
Sure, information is power here, and
trying to get All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, 2 successes, 1 6. Yeah.
So
Okay, so I'm up to a 4.
there is a local grid, which you may or may not have expected, because if you remember, somebody said, "Oh, you're remedial," which means they have to be getting fresh people from somebody. If there's even a group of people if there's a designation for people who don't belong here yet, they're getting an influx of people from someone, somewhere. So there has to be some sort of outside communication for that.
Okay, well, what can I guess I kind of tentatively ping that, like, hey, request for information. I can't just say request for information, what the hell? Request for information, where do I learn more information?
You got 2 successes. So you're, there is is called the Hall of Rehearsal.
Hall of Rehearsal. Got it.
And you also see, like, the dating site. The dating site is for a locally hosted dating site for literally the people who run this comm station.
Must be a big comm station. Okay, so the Hall of Rehearsal is different than the comm station. The comm station is telling me about the Hall of Rehearsal so that we can go to the Hall of Rehearsal and try to learn more information there.
Yes.
Okay. To the Hall of Rehearsal. I'll just, I'll convey all of this. I won't even say it. I'll just pass it through Augment. Just like, this is everything that, I'm thinking about this, and it seems like we do need to get more information. You guys are right. Here's where we need to go.
Yeah.
Yep. There is a thing has occurred to Graydon. By the way, just that I'm not going to take a huge amount of time on here, but as we're going, there's one file I want to try to open up. One of the files that I'm not supposed to have, because I'm also just sort of trying to keep an eye out, because it's like there's a sniper somewhere, and there is a Hexarch somewhere, and there are plans in motion outside of us where things might happen. And so Graydon was thinking, okay, what sort of resources could be brought to bear? Well, aside from whatever they may have up on the asteroid, which we don't know, he then thinks to look in the file, hopefully that will tell him what armaments the Shattered Skies came here with.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just going into my Obsidian, because that's what I use to keep track of everything these days.
I just realized that might become important.
Fair.
All right, so there are the Shattered Skies is actually outfitted with some things you haven't quite heard of. One is called an Echo Rifle.
An Echo what?
An Echo Rifle.
Oh, okay.
It becomes more accurate and more devastating the more times you hit the same target, because you are actually tuning the target to its own destruction every time you fire upon it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conversion beam. That's upsetting.
There is something called a reality splicer.
Oh,
Don't like that.
that sounds pleasant.
Well, that sounds expensive.
Yeah, there's a graviton lash.
Ooh.
There are a complement of bloodletter spears for the Kell on the ship. Every strike actually extracts blood to create more razors for more cutting area. There are some swarm cannons. They actually consume and repurpose target material, turning it into other things.
Okay.
Was not aware of that.
Let's see here. There's a shard rifle. It fires a shard. It's capable of splitting into countless smaller shards that then reflect their own light off of each other to make a kaleidoscope effect. So it's kind of like a storm kaleidoscope that sort of kind of mows over a target.
Okay.
And the last thing you find in there is an emotion parasite launcher. It shoots bioengineered parasites to attach to targets and then amplify their strongest emotions to debilitating levels.
Did you say blinds the target and then amplifies?
It attaches to the target and amplifies their strongest emotions to debilitating levels. So, like, enemies are consumed by fear or uncontrollable violence or despair. Real mixed bag, because people are people.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that does tell me one thing. That at least tells me that there was one thing that is not on that list, and I'm glad it's not on that list.
Threshold winnower.
Yeah, that was the one, because I was like, if one of those is on here, I was thinking that was the solution they were going for.
I mean, the reality splicer is like a mini threshold winnower, so it's still pretty bad.
Oh,
because it creates temporary portals of alternate realities, displacing the target into incomprehensible places. So it's like a very mini threshold winnower.
Oh my god.
Man portable
winnower.
Good lord. And is the graviton lash like a ship weapon, or is that a personal weapon?
It's a ship weapon. It's actually it's a coiled chain that launches from a ship, and the chain itself actually manipulates gravity along the length of it.
That's just a moth proboscis.
So, like, if you chain two ships together, you could have an entire tow chain of miniature singularities just crushing people, between two ships.
Or we could, hit the rock up there with the chain and make it go that way towards the planet.
Well,
or away
if we
from
want to
the
go
planet.
scorched earth, yeah. All right. Okay, just wanted to thank you for that information. I very much appreciate it.
I sat down and I thought about some fucked up weapons.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have this information and I do not.
Yes, me too. That is why Graydon is not going to say a damn word about it.
Like, ooh, they brought all kinds of toys. That's great.
Yeah, at least not right now. Anyway, he's gonna try to keep it to himself, but that's a lot. So yeah, it's just if they wanted to come. So they could have come down here
and started
purging if they needed to. Would have been
as long as you were
possible.
smart about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, You had two Shuos and they man-portable Winnower. Like, that just sounds like a solution.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was also one Paradox Blade.
Oh,
That's a man-portable weapon. There's only one of them. It's actually a set of it's a set of swords that vibrates at two different time frequencies. One accelerates perceptions while the other slows it, creating a disjoint reality when struck.
That sounds like a
Awesome.
very neat toy.
my God.
Yeah, so I'll give you the I'll put the whole description in our little chat so you can see the Paradox Blade.
So I'm just seeing a Robin's Christmas list that he is not allowed to have because he has
Yeah.
been a naughty boy.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. I just, mostly just wanted to thank you. My apologies for this divergence, but it's a thing that it's just good to know what is potentially on the table.
Well, there's your table.
Yeah.
I got to see the phrase experience infinite death simultaneously.
Yeah.
And as someone who has personally been close to death, that's a lot. You don't use that on just anybody.
Nah.
No.
Now a hex arc, that seems tailor-made.
Oh, good God. I'm so glad Robin has not
I have
gotten
no
this
knowledge
information
of
yet.
this weapon.
Yes.
And everyone is happy for it, apparently.
Yeah.
Could be worse. Duncan could have had it.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
that is the only way that could have been worse. Okay, yeah, that's all I needed to know. I'm just following along with folks,
So to the rehearsal hall.
keeping an eye out. Just keeping an eye out in case anyone might be. Just as we go, just keeping just sort of an eye out or a brain out rather for folks that might be fixating on us to try to so that we don't necessarily try to keep us from sticking out if at all possible.
I'm still spewing out cat memes as we walk along, keeping the grassroots movement going.
Can I send a status ping to the ship really quick? Shattered Skies.
Sure.
Just like, hey, all good. Question mark.
Yes.
Do I get an all good? I get an all good back.
Yeah.
Okay, to make sure there was a pause there. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was just I was sending to the group all of the terrible weapons I came up with.
Awesome.
God.
Awesome. That's so many. Wow. Okay.
That,
cool.
that is
Just
a
keep
lot
going.
of things
I
that
will read
need
those
to-
another time.
I need some of these. I need so many of these.
Amazing. Well, I tell the ship we're all good, and I get an all good back from the ship. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool.
Is it an all good from the people or an all
Yeah.
good from the moth?
It's from the moth. The moth is
Okay,
all good.
Okay, good.
It's probably a lot of systems on automatic right now, given that most of the complement of the ship was killed in incredibly fucked up ways, or may still be in some kind of incredibly fucked up half-life, but definitely not running the ship as they should be. So yeah.
I mean, it ran well while we were there, Who knows how long they've been
Okay.
cocooned up?
Ooh, yeah.
Enough. The answer is
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Okay, well, ship's okay. I'm okay for now. Will any of us ever be okay again? Unknown. It's fine. We're on an adventure, guys. Good times.
Oh yes.
A good last adventure.
So
It's adventure. All of rehearsal.
where do we find this hall, and is it on this side of the planet?
It is conveniently here. Because every town has to have their own hall of rehearsal.
Okay.
Of course.
So, yeah, you see this large building is very much like a cathedral, and there are places. It's almost like looking at like a collar on a shirt. There's a set of risers that are suspended in air around the cathedral that are actually choir seating for singing from the outside.
Well, let's go in and say hi.
Oh, give a nice little wave while talking about cat memes. Well, let's go forth. On floor will approach first, knowing a little bit more about just a smidgen more. This, I've actually had contact, meaningful contact, with people despite them dying. So I'll head in and I will say, and approach the first person there, and say, hello, I am, on floor. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. So a person wearing the robe equivalent of a tux and tails walks up to you and says, "Oh, undone. Well, it's been a while, I suppose, but all remedials are welcome."
I am excited to learn more about everything, truly.
Well, you've made the right choice. We don't have need for nasty people like the Vidona here.
No, certainly not. They operate in a way that's definitely unpleasant.
Well, come.
And as we walk, I'm like, what? I'm sorry, I did not ask your name.
You may call me local director. That's good enough.
All right, local director.
They take you to a room. This room is quite spacious. Hardwood floors. The walls are the other walls, except for the wall you except for the wall where the door was. You walked in. Once you walk in this room, the other three walls are curtains. Above you is a cascade of flat crystalline pieces. Sort of would look like a sound baffle setup in any sort of normal theater.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is an impressive room.
Well, I guess the real question is, will the room impress you or will you impress the room? Well, I'm sure you have plenty of studying to do.
How does one start?
Well, the room. Well, start with your issued tuning fork, and all will be revealed. Do, 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 as they go and they just walk off very unceremoniously that they're going to go clean up.
Things I get myself into. And I will look up at the crystalline wall, and I will say hello with the tuning fork.
The room you can feel almost instantly as if the room is judging you. The walls are judging you. The floor is judging you. The baffles on the ceiling are judging you. And your song is not quite the right song. So what's going to happen here is that the room is going to make an attack against your edges. Well, specifically your signifier.
Okay.
As it sings the right song back at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you would like to defend, you can this is a social attack against your signifier to change you in some fundamental way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Cool. This is comfortable. I'm okay with this. Is this just like any other role in which I choose to? Okay.
Just like you're fighting a room instead of like anything that makes sense.
The gazebo attacks.
The gazebo attacks. All right. Well, if ever there was a time to be in the eye of the hurricane, it would be this one.
Can somebody tell I play too much Exalted here?
yeah, I can tell. I'm also just going, they don't need Vedona. They have rooms that are Vedona.
How unsettling that they know about that. All right, I'm going to have to roll another one of these dice after I see what the numbers are. Oh, that's pretty good. All right.
Yeah, I do not like this social studies class.
That was that's 4 successes. I almost said 5 because I was holding a 5. That's 4 successes.
So you are not changed. You don't receive any damage to your signifier, which is fantastic. Because it deals double damage to your signifier.
Oh no.
So what happens is that you see the concept of their society, the Amber Calendar, the social contract that holds everybody together. You know, adhering to rigidly to your factions, to your place in society, and there are some pieces missing here because this is an offshoot. It's almost like a lost colony situation for a completely separate set of people who aren't even in this game technically. They're just here right here. And you see that this was actually a trading outpost, almost like, you know, they came here, colonized. This was kind of contested space, and through the intercession of the Hexarch and also trying to maintain their own values, this is what you've gotten. And this is such a unique calendrical space that it's almost been treated like a habitat. And there is some sort of agreement to send X amount of heretics here. Oh, Pope! I knocked him down.
Wow. Okay. I hate that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And every let's say like every round, we'll call a round maybe a minute in this case, that you stay in the room will try to attack you again with the right song. So just you can feel that choir sort of stirring back up, that constructed choir stirring back up to teach you the right way to do things.
Yeah. Cool. I hate that even more. Okay, so well, I mean, I got a partial answer. I didn't take any damage the first time. I could stand for another round and get a little bit more.
I think somebody else needs to have the arrogance signifier.
Look, I'm an Ondan. It's literally in the blood. Okay. I'll save it for another round and see what else I can get from this room.
And as you are staying here to kind of glean secrets by having something yell at you, is there anything you're trying to hear specifically?
Well, I got a little bit of history. I would like to get some more like current events rather than the origin. Rather more kind of I wouldn't assume it would give me names or anything, but sort of I guess their hierarchy more than as it exists now, if it's changed at all. And because I mean, everyone's the same or whatever, but is it really all the same? What is the status quo, A little bit more leaning towards my diplomacy sort of side of wanting to know that info. All right. Is this the same roll? No.
Yes.
No negative. Okay.
Yep. No negative. You didn't take any damage.
And that one. Oh, okay. Cool. That was 4 again. I did roll a 6, but I'll just use an XP. That's fine.
So,
just mark that.
all right. So they have 5 successes. The room does. You will take 2. You will take 2 signifier damage. All edges have, just like people, have 8 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
This just seems like a very brutal attack on your values. But you do hear, or maybe don't hear, who leads this planet, and they are called the Silent.
Worth it. Okay.
He who produces no sound is surrounded by the purest sound.
Okay. Cool. Hate that. Awesome. If that is the response I get from the room, I will be okay with that.
Yep, you get that. You also get the fact that the Silent has a conductor, because what is a conductor during a performance?
Just keeping the tempo.
They're keeping the tempo. That's all they're here. They understand everything because they are silent themselves and hear everything around them.
Okay, cool. Definitely worth it. All right, I will. I'm not learning a single lesson coming out of this room, so I will go ahead and exit before the cacophony tries to get at me again. It's like I'm good. Little bruise, but it's fine. And I'll walk out, and honestly, if I'm not stopped, I'm just gonna walk straight out.
Yeah, nobody's stopping you. Because why stop?
Go ahead.
If you're wrong, you'll figure it out.
Or turn to stone, whatever.
You're right. and I will reconvene with my fellows, and I will be like, well, that sucked. Would not recommend. However, they did know what an Ondon and a Vidona were in there, so that was concerning. However, they were very non-judgmental about it, because they believe that the room where you get the information would straighten that out. I believe it is a room that tries to make you join their chorus to get their information. Didn't work, obviously. However, what I did learn is, all that information before, but most importantly, the leader of this place is a silent, and they are a conductor.
Dadgummit. That makes sense.
So that baton does have value here.
It seems so. And unfortunately, it seems like your desire to not meet a silent is not gonna work.
No. There's ways that this works actually quite well. You're not going to like my answer, though. It's a very shoeless answer. You have just informed me that this entire society, this entire Ecumenopolis, is led by one individual. May I introduce you to a concept called regime change?
Or we just convince them. And
we're on a clock, though.
Oh, fair enough. But also, you may want to recall. I say, just sort of tapping my Rahal emblem. Convincing people is sort of my job.
Hey, I'll let you guys have a crack at it, but I am perfectly fine with taking the expedient route.
Well, what I'm thinking is that if this individual can be brought in line, that'll take care of everyone else. So, we found our heretic.
The bribery can work. Like, it has in the past. But I'm just thinking that your silent, if they're already bringing people from our society to this one, already has an agreement. And that's why that rock is parked back up there. It's part of the reason why I went regime change, because we're trying to do a lot of that.
Flora, did you mention to them that there's a active agreement between the Hexarchate and this place?
Oh yeah, everything. I mean, I said like all the stuff before, but I meant that I said all of that stuff in order not to just regurgitate it.
They already and they don't have Vidona, they have a Vidona room that they just take you to, and it indoctrinates you
in every town.
That delightful. Okay.
Well, as I see it, we can still take care of this person because not even politics is above the calendar.
Love the attitude. I would love to see you try.
Hey, stranger things have happened. Let folks attempt. Just, if things are going poorly, I will take the most expedient route to try and save us all.
Just like the Hex, just like they had a sniper, we'll have a sniper. You know.
No,
I might not have been there.
I really don't like guns.
It's a metaphor.
I prefer things that are much smaller.
Obviously.
No. Well, one way or another. At least we know we have a direction to aim in.
Well, let's go to the quietest place on this planet.
All right. I think we'll break there for the night as our plucky regime changers are here to meet the most silent of individuals on a planet of choral music.
How do we talk to someone who is silent?
Oh,
Guess
it's easy.
we'll find out.
They're always listening. It's just the communication is one way.
Yeah,
That's why it's really easy to just,
And they're silent. No one can hear them scream.
and if they do, that's fantastic. That's sending one hell of a message.
Feels like if they're always listening, then they may be prepared for us when we arrive. We'll have to see.
More than likely. I mean, there was a Hexarch right here, but they probably already been informed what's going on. It's just, can we cajole, bribe, slightly change their mind, or also change their life status? But that's a next time problem.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, fun thing, just mechanically for this laugh, because we'll be in our last session on this planet, edge damage is doubled.
Oh.
Both ways?
Both ways. The room would have, done just a shit ton of damage to your edge, regardless, because it's built to do that. But
Got it.
Good to know.
Good to know. We'll write that down.
Wow. All right. Well, are we good? Are we good to?
yeah, we're good. Yeah, let's
wow.
let's take us home.
Oh, this is amazing. I cannot praise this enough, and I'm going to be sad when this is over. I think probably I'm guessing then, according to what I'm saying, next time, yeah, probably is when we're going to be finaleing this thing. From the looks of things, so that'll be it. So very much looking forward to seeing how this whole thing goes.
Yep.
We're gonna go ahead and go around and do our outros, so folks can do the whole going to sleep type thing that apparently people need to do from time to time. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you. Feel free to plug whatever you like, and give any final thoughts you had about this episode. And we will start once again with Hollow.
Hey, I'm Hollow. You can find me on Blue Sky at Hollow Invective. Also, that other place that I love the dead name called Twitter. And also, you can technically find me on the TikTok, but I mean, I guess only for, the next, 30 days. Who can say? Yeah. We had a side chat going, and I do love someone asking, is this Space Australia?
Is it a penal colony? Maybe.
Who's
Or
to say?
Being repurposed as one, yes.
Yes, I love watching the reactions when things like click for players or when things are unexpected for players, and just kind of like the, oh, God damn it, look, like the exasperation of fuck. Like it's it's my favorite thing.
Yep. And this once again, this just reminds me that there is that it's just a thing I had to think about for a second. Is this, if this is basically a type of Space Australia, then there's I just want to recommend a game, an RPG out there called Durance, for anyone who wants to play a game of Space Australia. I've used Durance for many things on this channel. GM-less game by the same person who wrote Fiasco. You get a nice sort of but it gives us, teaches you also the how kind of things like this come about, and the sort of division of these two hierarchies between the authority and the convicts, and how things go there. But yes, no, this was wonderful, glorious. And now we are going to head over to PB.
Hi, I'm PB from at PB Plays Inside, where you can find me over on Blue Sky and Twitch. What's happening right now? Right now I am working on making art for cards for a game that I'm going to be running next week, which is my own game that I'm actively writing as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but you get it. Is a solo TTRPG that I'm going to be running next Wednesday, hopefully. And then it's going to be based off of a standard 52 deck. So I am rapidly making a bunch of art for all the prompts that are associated with those that deck that I myself am writing. So honestly, I'm just giving myself work. So that's how that goes. But that's what I'm working on right now. Also, you can find me over on twitch.tv/Anarisis, ANARISIS. On Thursday at 6:30 Central Standard Time, we're going to be co-streaming and watching the Game Awards. So if that's of any interest to you, make sure to go over there and stop by and watch us judge heavily what's happening. So that is me. Before no, this was great, awesome. I loved all of this. I love just watching Graydon just like lose his mind the entire time. That was great. I loved it. I also loved the little bit of like almost weird like camaraderie. Maybe the camaraderie is not the right word, but like just like tag team destroying Graydon's sense of reality between Robin and Floor that happened. That was a lot of fun.
That was Angel and Devil agreeing on something.
It's like, ooh boy, what do I have to tell you about how neither of us are an angel or a devil in this society? Well, good luck with that.
Awesome. I loved that. I love that so good. Thank you for indulging me with that bit, by the way, as I was trying, because I had to figure out, I didn't want to bog things down, but at the same time I was like, well, I got to figure out if I'm going to betray everybody or not, because this is important to know. Because it's like, which way are we going to turn on this? And actually,
it is never too late to betray everybody.
That's true. Very true. But that's the problem, is that now the direction that that Graydon is heading might even be a worse one, because he now is trying to has hit that point that probably Rahul Lohan hit at some point, which is, my calendar is really the right one.
I am the Senate.
Yes. It's kind of the conclusion Graydon is coming to. Like, why can't everyone be nice to each other like they are on my planet? Basically. So that's kind of where we're headed. But as we continue around, let's head over to Ewan.
Hey, I'm Ewan. You can find me nowhere in particular. I'm having a lot of fun with this game. I have no idea where it's going, but I am really excited to see where it goes. That's really it for me.
Me too. And thank you so much also just for being strangely enough, Taste was kind of the voice of sanity tonight.
All it takes is a bunch of gum, y'all, and you
as close
too
as we got.
sane.
Yes, that's
There
it.
you go.
And finally over to Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope will build over on Blue Sky and start playing games. If you want to find me, catch me back here on Tuesday. There's a couple other things in the works for streaming wise, but it's probably going to happen in the new year. With one other thing that will happen before the new year. I think that that is up and coming, so just stay tuned. Definitely be back here next Tuesday. And if you want to hire this mercenary DM, by all means, feel free to drop me a line. I am currently working on developing 2 other games, one Exalted and then probably Urban Shadows. But right now, doing development for Exalted, and with a prompt where you can play anything, but there are consequences.
I mean, sounds like Exalted to me.
It's just coming up with the right premise. If you know that world, most everything is focused on the East Coast. Not my game. West Coast. West Coast and the Isles, and all the terrible things that are there. Then we get to the rest of the world. Well, you have to start somewhere. And starting with, undead or infernal pirates, plus, an entire island chain of different societies, different tech levels, that sounds like a blast. As was this, whether it was Graydon having a nervous breakdown, the Floor being the angel to Robin's devil. Though right now it's kind of unclear who has the higher kill count. And who's willing to sacrifice the most people. So I love how they're so different, but they're almost the same person at the exact same time. And then, yet Tace is the voice of reason. Tace has gone the full Barkley, and where he does absolutely unreasonable things for all the right reasons, and at the end of it all, he's the most reasonable. After all of the visions, the weird BS, he still is the voice of reason after even being unreasonable. It's just so beautiful.
We'll see if that maintains.
We shall. And then Hollow, I have not said this about any other GM I have ever played with or worked with. You are the master of it gets worse. Like every week, without fail, it just gets worse. So hold your head high, comrade, as you have achieved something that no one else in my 41 years on this planet has. And thank you so much for being here to enjoy all this with us. Whether live, VOD, YouTube, the story is nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. Take care of yourselves, one another, and I hope to see you soon.
Yay! Agreed. Just the masterful way in which this campaign has just rolled out, and gradually everything gets worse and worse and worse. It's glorious. It is wonderful, and I love it. But who am I? That is an excellent question. I will never know. But at the moment, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. I have nothing official scheduled between now and next Tuesday. To stream. I might come in and stream video games between now and then, but next Tuesday we're having what I believe is going to be the finale of our Ninefox Gambit campaign. So come back to see how this whole thing ends. I cannot wait, because I feel as though something major is going to happen. So please come back for that. We do have a week from Friday, though, is when we have that other thing that Pope was talking about starting up. And I will talk more about that next week. But I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good. I have to get my my stuff together. Do you like horrible people trying to make the world even more horrible? Do you enjoy eldritch horror? Well, come on down in a week from Friday, and we'll see that being brought into existence. So very much looking forward to that. Anything else as far as things I have to plug? We're almost there. We're getting there with 1 year hence. I have been approved as a partner over on Roll20, the Roll20 marketplace. So I just have to figure out how to get the game onto their store and get them to and see if they approve it, and that'll be it. So then there will be a release, and I will talk about it a lot. So that game is almost ready. We're almost there, folks. We are almost there. And again, I need to figure out what I want to do to get I have to figure out that piece before I can start scheduling bunches of one shots. But at this point, I'm just going to say, folks, anyone who's got if anyone out there would like to have a chance to find out more about the game, or would like to have me come on their podcast or stream or whatever and run the thing, I'll be happy to do it. Because I like this game that I have written very much. So that's a thing I'm happy to try to spread to folks if they are so inclined. But that said, enough shilling from me for tonight. When we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to Vancouver by Night. They are having a finale to their Marvel multiverse campaign they've been running, and it looks like they're also doing a fundraiser. So we're going to go over there and say hi. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. That will be when we hit the end card. And just as a reminder, once again, because it is still a rough time for folks right now, please remember you are valid, you are unique, and that is wonderful because variety is very important. You matter. So please remember to take care of yourself, and remember you can absolutely give yourself grace when you need to. Take care, folks, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.